You might want to tell them.
You can keep it. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call our June combined regular and work session in order. The time is 7:05 p.m. Please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge to the flag. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We don't have any special recognition. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to amend the agenda to say that we will, moving forward as tonight and have how we've done it in the past, we will have public participation due to our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And as always, our community is welcome to email any of us, call, text, however you want to get in touch with us with questions you might have.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor from Ms. Coggin to amend the agenda moving forward. As long as we're meeting this way, limiting public from coming to the meeting due to COVID-19, public participation will not be on the agenda. However, public still may participate, express concerns through text, phone calls, emails. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's reports.
Madam Chair and members of the board, Madam Superintendent, good evening. In the financial report, the special purpose local option for education sales tax, East Blast 5 distribution for March was $1,224,506, which is an increase of $34,208 from the previous month. The average collections for the first 4 months of East Blast are $1,140,551. Item 2, the title ad valorem tax collection for March was $295,435. And finally, expenditures are within budget with 85.99% of funds expended and 91.67% of the fiscal year complete. And the financial statements are there for your review. That is the financial report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and second. Open for discussion. Any discussion? Okay, having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Strategic plan report.
The RISE Academy celebrated 24 graduates during the month of May. Staff members visited each graduate's home to congratulate both the students and parents. Each student received a sign to proudly display in his or her yard, and that is under student achievement and success. Under high quality workforce, teachers new to Newton County for the 2019-20 school year were recognized on May 21st, 2020 at a new teacher recognition program held via WebEx. New teachers, administrators, and best leaders attended the recognition. 2 NCSS directors and the superintendent thanked the teachers for their dedication and hard work. The best leaders put together a slideshow to recognize each teacher. Under culture, climate, and communication, the public transportation personnel are assisting with the system-wide feeding initiative by delivering food on routes to more than 17 areas or locations. And finally, under organizational and operational effectiveness, school resource officers assisted with the collection of technology disseminated as part of the distance learning initiative and the return of students' personal items at all school locations. And that are just some select items from the strategic plan report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Roundtree. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. The floor is open for discussion or questions. Okay, having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have no old business, moving on to new business.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, we have items we have about 28 items tonight. I'm going to be moving through them pretty quick, but if you need me to stop, I'll be happy to do so. Or the board could take them all together now, if you'd like.
No, we cannot, Dr. Barr.
Okay. All right. In item A, the superintendent recommends the approval of a spending resolution for July 2020. As details, the Georgia Legislature is responsible for preparation and approval of a statewide budget, which includes funding for public education, by June 30 of each year. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, the legislature suspended the session on March 12, 2020. As such, the Newton County School System does not have the adequate information required to prepare a FY 2021 budget for board approval by June 30th. Therefore, the board should adopt a spending resolution for each month of the fiscal year 2021 until the board adopts a budget. The spending resolution is there for your review, and this relates to all 4 strategic goal areas. And that is item A, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. May I have a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. The floor is open for discussion.
Yes, a comment. If that budget exceeds, what's the consequences for that 112?
Are you just saying it can't?
What's-
I just didn't hear what you said, Mr. Johnson.
Oh.
I didn't hear.
The resolution's calling to adopt a budget to approve,
Oh, spending resolution, yeah.
right, for August 1/12 of the budget.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, what are the consequences for overrunning that budget for August?
It would violate the law, so we're not going to overrun 1/12 of the budget. And we've run the numbers and we'll be in good shape. So we're not gonna go over 1/12 of the
I
budget.
just want to know, so,
Yeah.
when
We just don't wanna get caught up breaking any rules and laws and regulations.
Okay, I know when you break a law, there's a penalty associated with it, so.
I'm not sure what the penalty is, but I don't wanna be the first one to find out either.
And he don't want to be on the hook either. and I don't wanna be-
Thank you.
Okay. Still on the floor, any other discussion? Okay, having none, I call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item B.
In item B, the superintendent recommends the approval of membership in the Griffin Regional Educational Service Agency. The total cost of the contract for FY 2021 is $191,092.94. The types of services provided and the associated costs are provided there for your review. This relates to all 4 strategic goal areas, and that concludes item B.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move item B forward?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, floor is now open for discussion. Having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item C.
In item C, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contracts with the following vendors be renewed for an additional contract term. The policy period beginning July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And those 2 items are, number 1, Safety National Casualty Corporation, which provides excess workers' compensation insurance coverage. Contract value is $139,977. GSBA Risk Management Fund provides property and liability insurance coverage, and the contract value there is $766,527. And details are provided for your review, and if you have any questions, be happy to answer those. This relates to strategic goal area 4, and the cost associated with those, the funding sources associated with those are also outlined for your review. And that is item C, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. May I have a motion for item C, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second, all to the right tonight. All right, the floor is now open for discussion. Any discussion or questions?
Question, is this the same amount or increase from last year?
There was an increase in the Georgia School Boards Association. It's just based on a fund, what they expend during the year. So
The risk management part?
Yes, for the risk management part, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And I'm listening. in case anybody is wondering on, like, watching us, like, she's never saying all opposed. So I'm hearing all ayes, so that's why I'm not saying the other part, you guys. Okay, item D.
In item D, the superintendent recommends the adoption of the following English language arts textbook packages for secondary schools. McGraw-Hill for grades 6 through 8 language arts courses totaling $881,367.51. McGraw-Hill for 9th grade literature, world literature, American literature, and multicultural literature totaling $1,025,183.43. And finally, Bedford Freeman and Worth for AP Literature and AP Language courses totaling $107,478.40. The combined purchase for all middle school and high school courses is $2,014,029.34. There's information there provided about the need for students to have textbooks as well as descriptions of all the textbook packages. For your review, this deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, and the purchase documentation is provided for you. And that concludes item D, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for item D?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. The floor is open for discussions or questions or concerns.
Madam Chair, I have one.
Okay.
I just want to point out this, for these textbooks, there is an online version as well as the hardback version, so students will have both options.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the online version, I believe, is downloadable too.
Right, right. Thank you.
All of these are for English, or ELA, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the McGraw-Hill is for ELA, not science. Just want to make sure, okay. In the content section, it said science, so I just want to make sure we had,
Okay.
or unless I misunderstood the sentence.
It should say English language arts, and so if there's a mistake there, I'm gonna have to take responsibility for it, since Ms. Dr. Warfield has given me the eye.
I just didn't know if that
She
changed
made that
anything
correction, she
for
made that
our
correction,
recommendation.
and I
Tell me
did
where
not.
it is.
McGraw-Hill is a digital learning experience company that combines the expertise of learning science with innovative thinking and new emerging technologies to offer today's learners a richer, more vibrant, relevant, and meaningful
Maybe
learning
it's the
experience.
Learning
learning
science.
science. It's like the science
The
of
learning
learning.
science. Okay.
Yes.
So again, I could have misunderstood and did
No,
misunderstand
it's okay.
the sentence structure.
I'm now officially off the hook. So, we're done.
Thank you.
Okay. Abigail asked a question about if an online version was available. I do have a question concerning McGraw-Hill and Bedford Freeman and Worth. Have any of these book companies, in the wake of everything that's going on, a lot of educational advocacy groups are pushing for books to be more diverse? Have they released any statements regarding this?
That's one of the reasons we chose McGraw-Hill and BFW, because of the diversity in the text. Some of the other vendors that we looked at did not have that, so they've already got diverse text. They add novels every day online, and one of the components that we were really attracted to in terms of your question is it's called a daily blast, and it's current events that are happening now that's in a social media format, and it's done in 3 levels. So you don't have to be, it's not up here if the student's reading level is here, and it has to do with current events. And not only does it have to do with current events, there's also science articles or social studies articles. So that's their way of also incorporating diversity daily, because a new blast is added every day. And with that blast, once they read it in the social media format, then there's a writing assignment that goes with it, and then the kids have that's their forum to voice their opinion and to have those discussions in the classrooms that need to happen. So it enables, it's already vetted, so it enables the teacher to have something.
If they use it?
Yes, that they can use. And it's already vetted within the company, so that there's nothing inappropriate that's being shared with the students. But at the same time, it does deal with daily events.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. I hope, because you weren't at the mic, so I hope they heard you like at home viewing it and stuff. I do hope that teachers, I'm going to say this, take advantage of that piece. So I'm going to say that. So that's why I said if they use it, so.
I'd like to make a comment too, just for the folks who, we didn't read all of this out loud, and I think this is available, but evidence shows students learn more effectively from print textbooks than screens. That's the research that we're noting here. So I applaud us moving in the direction of having textbooks that people can take home and the opportunity to view them online as well for all learning types, but particularly though for a parent to be able to interact with someone. My child's textbook is helpful for me, so I'm glad to see that and applaud your work.
Thank you. Can I add something to that as well? With the, it's the assumption that because we're in a digital world, that the kids learn better digitally. And the research that was pulled out from that, they do read quicker with that, but they do not absorb the details as they do in a print. So it suggested that they have the print material to go to a university level, which is where we want them to go. So as far as the details and being able to cite textual evidence and being able to remember what they've read, the research supports the print.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item E,
At item E, the superintendent recommends the purchase of Handwriting Without Tears from Learning Without Tears. The cost of this product for the 2020-2021 school year is $80,150.46. Handwriting Without Tears will give teachers a tool to provide knowledge, skills, and materials needed to effectively teach print writing and cursive writing. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and the funding source is outlined there for your review. And this is a continuation of an existing program, and that is item E.
okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and second. The floor is open for discussion. Okay, having none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item F,
And item F, the superintendent recommends the approval of a contract with Flexible Creativity Incorporated for 25 days of professional learning. The total purchase is $87,500 for services plus incurred expenses. The district and individual schools have utilized the services provided by Flexible Creativity to support the district's strategic goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, with a focus on Performance Objective 1, Improve Student Mastery of Standards, and the action steps outlined thereafter in Initiative 1, Increase Instructional Capacity of Teachers in All Classrooms. The selected school staff will participate in virtual and face-to-face coaching and modeling sessions that focus on effective professional learning communities, another important part of our strategic plan, research-based instructional strategies, and building background knowledge in content areas. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, and the funding source is federal funds outlined there for your review, and that is item F.
okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move F forward?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and second. Floor is open for discussion.
A question, how many students can participate in the class per day?
This is,
It's all for all for teacher professional learning.
This
Is that correct?
Mr. Bailey?
Well, if he was finished, I'm not sure.
Oh.
I asked the question, how many participants?
Oh, you said students. They were saying,
Well,
you meant the teachers.
oh, okay.
24 or 25 sessions, I don't know,
25.
25 sessions.
How many participants can be involved in the sessions?
Okay, so with elementary school, you have all of the new teachers would be a part of the professional learning. And then for secondary, we have it where he'll be working with the virtual platform. So he's going to actually help us build a professional learning platform to help. We completed a survey through our federal programs, Title IIA, to find out what the teachers needed as far as their professional learning. And one of the things, I'm sorry, I don't even know if you can hear me. And one of the things that we found in our survey was that they needed support with engaging students through the virtual platform. So I had an opportunity to speak with Dr. Mulligan because he's going to help us with building that platform for the teachers. So we'll have videos and things of that nature. So all teachers will have access to that.
okay, well, how many participants can he handle on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, how many teachers, we've had upwards, I think in the new
Hundreds.
teachers, it was hundreds, 150 maybe that were in the cafeteria
Per session?
with them.
Yeah,
Okay,
sometimes
that's-
more.
That's fundamental, okay, thank you.
I have a question, unless you want to go, Mr. Bailey. I had a question in response to what she gave.
Well, that's fine, and then I'll follow that.
Okay. So you said that, and I see it in here about like the teachers needed help with building a virtual platform. So my question is, like, I don't know, I guess I'm a little confused, only because Dr. Mulligan has been out of the classroom for quite some time. So a virtual classroom would be something that he's quite an expert in today's time. So how would he do that?
Well, I know we're talking about engaging students through the virtual platform. So Dr. Mulligan, he not only works in Newton County, but he's also been around, to a lot of districts across the state. So he's working with, I think he's in Virginia right now, where he's working with them with the same thing. And I've had a chance to kind of see a couple of things that he's been doing. It's just trying to engage students through the virtual platform. It goes beyond just, a teacher seeing a student and we're both sitting on a computer and we're actually just, I'm talking to you. It's showing you how to engage students, giving them activities to do, being creative and innovative in your instruction so that the students are engaged through the virtual platform.
So when I hear that, going back to the point that I'm making, when I hear that, I don't hear him engaging them in like, in terms of how to be savvy or create engagement using a virtual platform. What I hear is him teaching how to create engagement in the classroom, but having to do it virtually, which is two different things. You get what I'm saying? So if we want to teach teachers to like engage virtually, like it wouldn't be him that does that, would it?
He can do that. I'm confident that he can do it. It's more you're engaging them with your instructional practices that you have during that time. So he focuses on your instructional practices.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So
Okay.
it's not him engaging them to use virtual platforms to engage students.
Okay, yes, I
It's
see.
him, so we really should take out virtual altogether, because basically he's still doing instructional practices, but he's teaching them how to do it in a virtual platform.
Yes.
Okay, which is two different things. Okay.
So I'd like to just comment, and so I'm looking at the dollars and cents, $87,500 plus expenses, and I know you're traveling in. I don't know what that total cost looks like, but I'm guessing it's going to be, over $90,000. And in the two different things, one in the economic climate that we're in, and we've already gotten word from the governor, we are anticipating at least some sort of budget cuts, and at the tune of numbers that could be in double digits, and so we got to find that kind of money. When we do go to look for it, I'm not comfortable with a consultant for this type work, although that's important. Like, I know we need to help our teachers engage their students, but like to what you're saying, specifically in the online realm,
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with
I'm not comfortable with this consultant doing that work. He may be great at it, but that's not what we've seen in the past from him, because that's not the work he's been doing for us. Student engagement, right? Professional learning to help student engagement. But I feel like there's a greater need right now if we're going to spend $87,500 or over $90,000 for a consultant, that we increase our consultant or training on implicit bias, on race relations, on equity, and or social media sensitivity even. Like, I think there's areas right now that if we approve this tonight and we have to look at budget cuts, this is already approved, and I'm afraid we will not have the funds we need for, to me, maybe an even more important training for our professionals, our teachers. That's just where I'm at. I'm ready to say, to increase our professional learning, but maybe not in this arena right now. I would I would recommend even to the superintendent to reallocate those funds to something and earmark them and say, hey, no, we're going to spend these funds to make sure that we're covering the hottest topic on the planet right now, And if we're able to get back into the school buildings, online environment is not going to be the number one thing, but we are going to have a lot of kids and coming into the school system that needs teachers to understand what's going on in their world, administrators to understand what's going on in their world, and then work towards some sort of unity. And I think I would rather see us spend our dollars there. Go ahead and earmark them now. And if this is something we need to spend our money on instead, I just would love for y'all to show us tonight, here's how much money we're going to spend on implicit bias and those type trainings. And we're not going to sign off on this tonight. I'm not going to sign off on this tonight until I see and know for sure that other is covered.
Well, and it's also, just to point out, it's federal dollars that you can only spend on certain things. So we just have to make sure that you can't just, it's not like the general fund budget where we're just reallocating. These dollars are set aside for student achievement and success and for improving educational outcomes for kids. So we just have to make sure whatever we do that we are meeting the letter of the Title II-A guidelines, which Dr. Warfield oversees those funds. So just have to keep that in mind. And y'all are the ones who work with Dr. Mulligan in developing the plan. So if you want to, express your work so that the board members understand whether or not, I mean, we wouldn't be making this recommendation, I don't think, if you didn't feel it was vital to the programs that we have in place. So
My only thing is, and I can agree with what Trey say, I 100% agree with what Trey says, but going back again to the other point, like when you say that, teachers were saying they need to learn how to engage students virtually from the virtual platform.
Sure.
So we've had Dr. Mulligan teaching on engagement for I don't know how many years. And so what I don't hear them saying is, I need to learn how to engage my students the same way I engage them in the classroom. What I hear them saying is, I need to learn how to be more tech savvy to engage my students virtually. And that's two different things is what I'm saying.
But I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that they're saying they need to be, the actual survey actually says different. The survey that I have says that they're very comfortable with the tools and resources. They're not sure how to instructionally engage students through the platform itself. So it's not that they're not tech savvy. 90% or better on the survey say that they got the tools. They just don't know how to
and when I say
instructionally
tech
engage.
savvy, I don't mean know how to use just using.
Right.
I mean know how to create things within the technology platform, the virtual platform for students to participate with to make it engaging. So
I don't think that's their assessment of themselves. 77% of the teachers participated in the survey, and that was one of the questions that was asked. And the survey does not say that they're not able to do that. What it says is that they struggle to engage them with the appropriate types of instruction using the virtual platform as the model. That was that assessment, the upbeat assessment that we talked about.
Sure.
So
I guess-
it has to get done, and he's got the expertise. He's an instructional person, and he knows that, he knows how to do this work. It is not unlike what you just said, Mrs. Henderson Baker, about the textbooks. We can bring the horse to the water, and we can give them all the tools and resources that we have available to us. If they're not using them, then the tools and resources are ineffective. It doesn't matter if it's a textbook or an instructional resource that we have in terms of people. And so that's something that we've worked with our principals on, and we've got plans in place to address making sure that whatever professional development we provide, that it's being implemented in the classrooms. And you can recall we did some external revisits and reviews and trying to look at, are we implementing best practice in every classroom and every building? And that's what we do.
So do the ladies want to speak or say anything?
Yes,
I
I
know
would
you're
like,
doing it.
to just share, looking at how our elementary teachers have engaged with Dr. Mulligan over this past year. Some school principals have asked for him to come back and continue the work. And so looking on the elementary level, we looked at Dr. Mulligan working with our new teachers with instructional strategies. And so some of the teachers said when we had him for pre-planning, it just wasn't enough. And so we had this little cramped time, but then they didn't have enough time to work with him in utilizing the instructional strategies, whether it's interactive notebooks, summarizing. So then our plan will be for next school year is for him to work with the new teachers on a monthly basis. And then after that, he can go into those classrooms and work with the principal side by side to observe whether or not they're implementing those instructional strategies with fidelity. We also would like for him to continue to work with our professional learning communities, which is also a part of our strategic learning plan or our strategic plan. So in the professional learning community, he will work with unpacking standards and then creating assessments for our teachers to then gauge real time how our students are doing. So that's our plan for moving forward for next school year, utilizing Dr. Mulligan.
Okay. I got a quick comment. I mean, before I lose my train of thought, with something you said, Dr. Mosley, he can go side by side in the classroom. And I know that has been what he has done in the past, but we still don't have a reopening plan that we've released. So I just want us to keep that in mind. Okay.
Okay. And I also would add, I did talk about engaging through the virtual platform. He also would help us with creating resources for teachers to have. So we have changed significantly how we've curriculum mapped. And so we have everything it's a one-stop shop. It's the Canvas page. And so he'll assist us with those resources. He offers the support as being an expert in instructional practices. So he assists us with that. Another piece that we really appreciate in secondary that we just had the opportunity to work with him on with our math department in 7th, 8th, and grade, as well as algebra and geometry, is we call them diagnostic formative assessments. And so he's provided, since we've been out of school, we know that there have been some gaps in learning with some of our students. And so what we've been doing is we're trying to create a resource that assists our teachers with spiraling back. So we call it flashback. And so we have they have a question that's on this document, and then we're looking at a standard. And so how do we make sure that the students are prepared for the class or the course that they're in right now? So we spiral back. So the teachers have that question, they ask the students, and we're able to see where they are as far as their depth of knowledge at that particular point. Are they connected to this? Are they able to master the standard? If they can do this particular question, if they cannot, then it's like a guide to teach you to go to the next level. So we started it with math, and we want to move forward with offering this support to ELA as well as science and social studies. Also within the plan, you can see, because we did recognize that we have, there will be a decrease in funds, so we've reduced the number of days that we would have Dr. Mulligan. So his support is strictly to provide professional learning for the teachers. And this year, we've had, the support from the teachers. They've appreciated his support. And if you are able to see the diagnostic formative assessments that he's worked with our teachers on, you'd be very pleased with that. And I would love to offer that same opportunity to our other courses. And right now, we just have it for those courses that I said for math. And so that would be beneficial to us.
Any questions or concerns? Do we feel comfortable voting, or do you want to table?
I'm not comfortable voting tonight, and it's no disrespect to you guys. I know you've done hard work on this, and I think we've put a lot of eggs in the basket with this company, and the expertise that he offers, I understand, is very valuable. I just think in the season that we're in right now, and in the climate that we're in, and then just knowing that we're going to have some hard decisions coming up with, salaries and, just whatever decisions we have to make, I would hate to make this one tonight and then regret that because we said, well, this is something we need right now. Let's go ahead and get it in. And I'm not comfortable with that, not with the decisions we have coming up. I would move to table this.
Okay. I do have a question. In his contract, I see this provision, I see an inclement weather provision, but I don't see a provision for what's going on right now. So that's my concern, like going back, and that's why I said I wanted to say what I said to you, Dr. Mosley, keeping this in mind. Because the key things that both of you said goes by side to side in the classroom. Well, I mean, like, but again, we don't have a reopen plan that's released. So I don't know if he would be able to go side by side in the classroom. And I don't know if something was to happen again that just recently happened. And there's nothing in his contract that says anything regarding that. And so, I mean, I don't feel comfortable paying that, like, knowing there's nothing in his contract that's listed with that.
I will say, I understand about the contract issue, because we've run into that personally.
Yeah, we would
with
still
some
have to
other
pay 'em.
things. Yeah, I mean, just the contract just seems sort of broad when you don't have the dates written there and things, or if you do have the dates, you kind of want it to be broad. But we probably ought to be a phrase in there that this is only
And we
A
can have.
face
we
to
can have
face.
to-
face
to
to
write it.
face
He's
and
very
not be
flexible.
specific dates and say, well, we'll work these
Right,
out.
and face to face again, and if it's
And I
not
think there-
face to face, it
I
needs to
think
be
there is a
break.
section in there that says dates to be determined, but I think something about the pandemic, I just think we've all learned that we need to put something in there about, in contracts, all our contracts, ought to say something to that effect, that in case of a no fault of our own kind of thing, or a.
Because otherwise, the way it's written right now, because that's not in here, he would still make $3,500 minus the travel expenses. So I'm not gonna approve this. I can tell you that now. So-
Let me just interject one thing. Even though it says, and this may not be the basis of the decision, but even though it says inclement weather, it's still a force majeure clause, which says that either party, should they be unable to perform the contract, cancels the contract.
Well, so-
It is in there, although it says inclement
It
weather.
says the force majeure part, I did see that, but I read the paragraph over and over, and I saw act of God, and I thought maybe he would include that, but the argument legally would be, well, what would be an act of God? So what we're saying is an act of God with the pandemic. He may say, his attorney
No,
could
it
go
would-
back and say, no, it's not.
Pandemic would be covered in that. It would
Okay.
be, based on the attorney's conversations that we've had on other contracts.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion on the floor. So if the motion passes, then it'll go through. If the motion does not, then we need a new motion, okay? So the motion on the floor is to move it forward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Okay, 1-3. I need a new motion.
I would make a motion that we table this until the July meeting.
Okay?
The July 7th meeting.
Oh,
I think it's the 21st, isn't it?
No, I
the
have it on my
July work
calendar,
session.
July
Or is it
7th.
a combined meeting?
Yeah. And
So the July meeting, I stand by
is
my
that gonna be-
motion.
That's gonna mess us up.
Oh, the
That would be
14th.
after,
Teacher
new
Sorry, not
teacher.
the 7th.
New
Yeah.
teacher induction is.
I think that's gonna be,
Depending on the
I mean, it is what it is, but if we have to wait until then, if we follow our traditional model, the way we are right now, he will not be available for our new teachers, new staff members.
Could he provide a contract for just that one day?
I'm sure he could. I don't know if he will.
Or
but-
if we've
yeah.
been using him for so long, it should be somebody within our system that would be able to provide. I mean, if we're saying that he's all that he is.
So, y'all wanna figure out who's gonna lead those sessions?
Sorry.
Sometimes it's better to have external people provide that kind of expertise, and, you know, but we'll do what you think is best, but I'm just going on the record to say, as the educational expert, I think you're making a mistake. I think Dr. Mulligan does a great job with the people that we have. I think the teachers who have been working with him, you know, they appreciate working with him. I think he's done some great work with our secondary team, Dr. Warfield, and the work that they've done with our curriculum maps. So, you know, I know there are some things that we need to work out perhaps in this contract, but this is the same contract that we've used for 10 years now. And so it, you know, it is what it is, but they don't come any better than Dr. Mulligan, and
I agree.
that's a national statement. That's not just a local statement, so.
So I would like to say, go on record as saying, I know he's good,
Oh, he's
and we
great.
pay good money for him. My concerns are still my concerns.
Absolutely.
And if if you wanted to hire him for just the new teacher induction, that's underneath
Yeah,
your
we wouldn't have to
threshold. You
request.
wouldn't even have to come back to us. So
Right.
I don't see a problem hiring him for that if he's willing to do that. If he's worked with us all this time, if he says, no, I'm not going to do it unless I get the whole contract, then that would be a question for us to,
No,
of
I doubt.
concern.
Dr. Mulligan's a great person. I doubt he would tell us
Yeah.
that he's not willing to help us, but I just
So-
think you're missing out on a lot of other things, so.
And
we're
his-
just asking for a new
now-
contract, like,
Absolutely.
okay.
And his contract, I know you said it's the same contract within the last 10 years, but we actually have renegotiated his contract before. We knocked down the fees, so it's not the same within the last 10 years.
It's the same price and structure.
Okay,
What you guys talked about was where he was staying when he came to town, not the contract price or the fees associated with it. That would remain the same. It was just where he was staying at the time. he
the
was there.
expenses,
And whether he
yeah,
was driving like a specific car or something like that.
yeah, the car and the hotel was decreased.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion on the floor to table to the July, whatever that date.
14th.
I think it's the 20, is it the 14th
Is
or
it,
the 21st?
okay, I've got it on the 14th. I had it on the 7th and one for the 14th, so sorry.
I have it on the 21st of July. July 21st.
So it's the 21st. Okay,
It is
we're
the
all put it on my
21st.
calendar.
Of
Okay,
July.
and to the July 21st meeting.
Yes.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor? Aye. That's two.
Oh, I'm sorry.
3. All opposed?
Insignificant.
Okay. 3-1.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sorry, I figured out why the 14th is a budget hearing. That's
Oh.
what kept popping up.
Waiting on you, Dr. Barr.
Okay. Item G, superintendent recommends the purchase of a corrective reading intervention program for middle schools to help with reading and comprehension skills. The total purchase is $247,228.85. The program is designed to meet the needs of students who are performing below grade level expectations in reading and other subject areas. It helps students meet the rigorous demands of standards in vocabulary, word recognition, fluency, and comprehension through explicit instruction, modeling, guided practice, and independent practice. This relates to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success. Purchasing documentation is provided and the funding source is outlined. That is item G, Madam Chair.
Okay. Is there a motion to move G forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. Floor is open for discussion. Having none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item H.
And item H, the superintendent recommends the social and emotional learning software needed for the school system be purchased from Rethink Ed of New York, New York. The total cost is $42,000. Rethink Ed provides an evidence-based social emotional learning solution that is flexible, scalable, and is designed to empower educators to meet the needs of children and families. And it was particularly useful during the school closure time. Strategic Goal Area 3, Culture, Climate, and Communication. Purchasing documentation is provided for you, and the funding source is there for your review. That is item H, Madam Chair.
Okay. Is there a motion to move H forward?
So moved, second.
Okay, moved in second. Any discussion or questions? Having none, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Item I.
Item I, you'll probably have a lot of questions about this one for Dr. Thomas. The superintendent recommends the educational video resources needed for the school system be purchased from Brain Pop of New York, New York. The total cost is $39,418.75. Individual schools are allowed the flexibility to use their allotted Title I funds in a way that best supports and aligns with strategies identified in their Title I school-wide plan. Accordingly, select schools have chosen to invest in Brain Pop's educational video resources. Brain Pop offers hundreds of animated educational videos across a wide variety of topics, all of which are accompanied by interactive quizzes, activities, and games. And again, this is schools using their allocated Title I resource money. Aligned with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success. Purchasing documentation is there for you, as well as a funding source I've already mentioned. That is item I, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to move I forward, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and second. Floor is open for discussion.
Yeah. I love Brain Pop. My kids love Brain Pop. When we went to digital learning, distance learning, Brain Pop servers were, they shut down for at least, what, a couple weeks or more. Do we have we gotten any word from them that they've changed, they've increased their server capacity? This won't happen again, because I know my teachers were assigning these things and then they weren't available. So I just want to make sure we're spending 40 grand on something we're going to get 40 grand worth.
Okay. You know, the Brain Pop representative have not said anything to me about the bandwidth, but I can certainly check into it to make sure that they have the capability to withstand our district using this program, as well as if other districts are using it, which that means that a lot of people are, accessing the program. But I'd be more than happy to contact the representative to ask that question to get more, definitive answers for you and share that with you.
Any other questions? Having none, I'll call for the question. Call for the question, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I want to vote yes, but I want to make sure
The answer?
that they can have the capacity to do this. I think it's too late now, but
No, you can vote no.
well, I still can, but we're already 3-1, so.
But so you can, whatever you choose to do, but we won't
still
purchase
gonna-
the product, even if you approve it, we'll get the information for the board.
Before
And
you
if-
sign
And
off.
if they come back and say, no, this is gonna fall apart again, we are not gonna purchase the
'Cause
product,
that's what they're gonna say,
period. So,
right?
yeah, they're not gonna say that, but we're gonna ask them to ensure that if there is ever like a surge, I don't think, there were so many companies that were not prepared for that. But if there is a surge, then if they can't withstand that surge, then even if the board approves it, we would not spend those dollars moving forward. So I don't know if that helps you at all or
That makes me
not.
much more comfortable, yes.
Okay, good.
And
vote
most
yes.
people, at least, like, if it was, a case like that again, they would, pay back a certain
Give
percentage.
you credit, yeah.
Yeah, most people do that, like if your TV's not operating, then I'm going to credit your bill. So at least check on that part.
Oh, absolutely. I'll check on it.
And I'll give you an update as soon as I find out, and then if, we won't make a move with the purchase until that information, and if, let's just say it comes back and they're just saying nope, then we'll just say, no, we're not purchasing, we're not moving forward.
Thanks.
Okay. Item J,
Item J, the superintendent recommends the Title I handbooks needed for the school system be purchased from Rico USA Incorporated of Atlanta, Georgia. The total cost is $44,240.52. Each year, Title I is required to provide a number of documents to families of school children within the system. These documents provide a description of Title I, its programs and benefits, and advise them of their rights under federal law. They also provide resources to encourage and develop parental and family engagement in their children's education. This relates to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success. And these are Title I federal funds, and the contract documentation is also provided for your review. That is item J.
okay. Item J, is there a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second. Call for discussion. Any discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item K,
Item K, the superintendent recommends the Chromebooks needed for select schools be purchased from Dell Marketing LP of Round Rock, Texas. The total cost will be $564,765. This cost will be paid for utilizing a digital learning grant awarded by the Georgia Department of Education to the school system. And this relates to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and the funding sources, as I've already mentioned, is a reimbursement through that grant. And that is item K, Madam Chair.
okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move it forward, please?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mrs. Coggan. Okay, floor is open for discussion.
Is it 100% reimbursement in that grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? I do have a question. So I know this is for the schools and stuff like that, and I know when we did the technology loaners, they came from the schools to go to the students and stuff. Is there a definitive year of when we would be one-to-one in terms of technology?
We're getting closer.
Because, I mean, I know you said something a couple of weeks ago, but now you say we're getting closer. So, but that doesn't match up.
What do you mean?
Because I thought you said we would be there by the beginning of the school
No,
year.
no, 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 no. We have only 9,500 devices. We would need to spend to purchase, what, 10,500 devices in order for everybody to have their own device. But it's not necessarily important that everybody has their own device. But this funding right here will make them almost there with one-to-one in their schools.
And that's inclusive of the Facebook.
The Facebook money, the $50,000 that they sent to us, helps to offset the costs for when we sent out the Chromebooks and the what do they call it? The hotspots. And so
Okay.
that was, those dollars were used for that.
So
But-
going back to my question then, is there a year?
We were, based on the plan that we had in place prior to, of course, COVID, we were looking at being at a one-to-one number within the next 3 years, hitting that number based on the gradual deployment of adding additional devices. As Ms. Fury mentioned, with our current number of devices plus the incoming grant, we are approximately 10,500 or so devices short of reaching that number. And that is with adding, we've been adding close to 3,300 devices each year.
3 years is a long ways out.
Well, hopefully we'll have some support from some external partners who are perhaps in the future, couple of weeks or months, will be willing to work with us to help us expand our opportunities to purchase devices to get us closer to one-to-one.
Well, I got to rub this in. If we had pursued a one-to-one suggestion 7 years ago, 8 years ago program, we wouldn't be here talking.
I agree, Mr. Johnson. I gave you credit for that. I said,
I don't need your credit.
I'm
He
just
needs
saying,
yours
I
from
gave you credit for that one. I
Well,
agree.
Are these allocated just for students, or can can some of these be given to teachers who have equipment that's not appropriate for distance learning?
Now, these are just for student use. We do have within our budget devices that are set aside to replace and update teacher laptops. So we are also on a device refreshment plan for teacher laptops.
Thanks.
Do we have any info on what schools are at what percent?
Yes, we do have those numbers. We have the breakdown by school based on their enrollment. I do not have the percentage off the top of my head, but I do have those numbers handy.
So we can get it.
Can you share that with us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
In item L, the superintendent recommends the computers and associated peripherals needed for the Career Technical and Agricultural Education CTAE program be purchased from Byte Speed LLC of Moorhead, Minnesota, and the Dell Corporation of Round Rock, Texas. The total cost of the purchase is $240,398.36. Summary of the purchase is provided there for your review. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1 and 4, and the funding source for general funds as outlined there for your review. And that is item L, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion or questions?
Oh, comment, question. This, in the light of additional budget cuts or strain, this is coming out of general fund. How far would this be on the list of reduction, if need be? Oh, nobody was listening?
Well, I mean, what do you mean, like, how?
Let me
reducing-
repeat it. I said, this is coming out of general funds.
Right.
And how far would this be on the list if we get additional requests for reductions?
Well, we've considered all the budgets for 14%, 11% reduction, including CTAE. So the reduction is included already in here.
So the original amount was
Come to the microphone.
the original amount was about 14% higher than that, and when we were expecting the cuts, we went back and refigured to make sure that we were being responsible with the budget rollback. So it's less devices than originally planned.
Okay. Thank you for that info.
Okay, any other questions?
I just, it's not specific to this, so, but I hear where Mr. Johnson's headed, and if we just took every department and said, all right, fine, 14%, now we're presenting this, and I know you still will decide whether or not to spend the money or not. I know we need appropriate technology, but I think the question is, are you gonna A and B this with teacher salaries? Or like, would you ever go, oh, well, we gotta have this computer instead of a furlough day, right? Because that's where I think really the heart of the question is, if I'm right, Mr. Johnson, is it's general funds. If we approve it tonight, and I know if he goes and spends it tomorrow, and we get these devices in, we can't send them back. So if the preparation for budget was 14% across the board, rather than let's find 30% over here so that we don't have to take 14% from the teacher salary line, I would like to hear that we approached it that way and not 14% across the board, because the answer led us to think that everything across the board is 14%. He would have spent more, but you told him to find 14%, so he stopped at this number.
Right.
And if we're saying salaries are, yeah, we just went 14% there too, and that's what we're preparing for, then I think we need to have more conversation about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great place to think about, but that's not what we've done.
Okay.
What we've done, as I've said before, is we've attempted to not touch teacher salary or salaries, period. And we've worked at looking at efficiencies in other places. And so the first thing we did was we said, all right, the governor is going to pass down a 14% cut. Everybody look at your budget to see where would you be best suited to cut 14%. If you had to cut it tomorrow, where would you go? And so everybody worked hard to cut 14%. Teacher salary is not in my conversation. My goal is to have no teacher furlough days, no staff furlough days. My goal is to try to get everybody in place and back to work. And our preliminary budget, because we've done a very good job at monitoring and looking at everything that comes through the board, and then, the team has done a really good job at looking at what do we really need for the district. And as a result, we have a healthy enough ending fund balance that we are going to be able to withstand some of the things that many of the other districts may not be able to withstand, and still have resources to weather even on into fiscal year 21, preparing for fiscal year 22, and still work on building a high school at the same time. So I think that's a testament to good stewardship of taxpayer dollars, a great team who's looking for efficiencies anywhere and everywhere without sacrificing the quality of programs, which I need to point, that's a very huge part of the work that we do, is making sure that whatever we do in our buildings is of good quality. So you can't strip away everything and then expect the quality to be the same. So we're doing a wonderful job balancing. So let me give you just a quick example. So my directive was 14%, but there are some places that it's already down to the skin and to the bones. And if they cut one more thing, some major program is gone. And so that area may not have cut 14%. But Tim, maybe he did, because he thought, well, instead of buying that third computer, I'll just buy 2 this year so that the other department doesn't have to, lose a left arm. And so that's how we've managed to work through the budget. We're not where we need to be because we don't have the real numbers yet. So we're basing everything that we have prepared to this point on fiscal year 20 and what those dollars were at that point in time. So you won't ever have to worry about me trying to cut a teacher's salary without you knowing about it ahead of time.
Well, I just want to thank you for saying that, because I
Yes.
think it needed to be said.
Absolutely.
And I think people need to hear that.
Yes.
Put some people at ease, and,
Yeah.
and, you know, just happened to line up, it was 14%, so, okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for that answer.
Absolutely.
I think that will help a lot of
Yes.
our team.
Yeah, that's the goal. I need people back at work and in the classrooms, and I need a lot of teaching and learning going on, because we have missed our children since March the 13th, and lots of things need to happen between now and then. And so, no, unless something drastic changes, and if it does, you will know about it, and I will make you aware. But right now, I don't see a need to have to go that route. You know, especially that the governor has reported that it might not be 14%, it might be closer to 11, and hopefully it'll be even less than that. But you have to take some credit for the ending fund balance and really keeping an eye on that thing, because given our financial circumstances, and we're still not where we were before the recession, and even in spite of that, we've been able to continue to have a healthy ending fund balance. And so the community should be proud, because it's not that way everywhere else. So kudos to y'all for helping us get there.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, but let's look at what you forced me to do tonight.
Uh-oh.
You forced me to sign a resolution that we will do 1/12 of the budget come August.
Yes.
I don't know when this
July.
will be, July, when this will be processed, and no one answered the consequences. But, and this is general funds, and I don't know, like anybody else, what the total reduction is going to be. But this, to me, is vulnerable, in my opinion, because it's general funds, one, and I don't think earth will cave in if we don't get them. So, and don't take this personal, but I have to make the input, and we've gone through, I don't know, 10 or 12 items here, and as I go through, I still got them pinched, if I can use that term in here, because you're gonna hear me start screaming next July, August, if we got a different situation than what we're talking about tonight. And I'm gonna use that word, I'm gonna pinch this one, and I wanna let everybody know I'm gonna pinch it. Because it's general funds, and I've signed that pledge. And how can I do it unless I start initiating some concerns now? I may be sounding kind of simple, but I'm dead serious. And I don't see how my colleagues can say anything else other than what I'm saying. I'm not putting words in their mouth, but.
No, I agree,
I
I agree
think
with what you're
we've all
saying.
been kind of saying that tonight,
Yeah.
giving an example with the Dr. Mulligan situation, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Trey, but I think what people have to understand, and then maybe some of, even the department heads have to understand, when we say no to something, don't get like all in a frenzy and stuff, but our responsibility as board members is to approve like the budget and to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible as a school system, but still able to meet the mission of the school district. And so that's our goal, our job, our duty. So I think what you're saying is right in line with what we've said tonight.
And I appreciate that, and while it is your role as board members to facilitate that, it is also my responsibility to provide you with the information that will lead you to make those kinds of decisions. Rest assured, I would not present something to you that would cause us to be in a fiscal situation. I have not, and we're entering almost into 8 years. I have not ever put you in a situation where we've had to have that conversation, and I would not do that starting year number 8. I would not do that either. But I understand we're nervous too. I mean, we don't know this is unprecedented circumstances, but we still have to get things approved and keep the school system moving forward in spite of the fact that, do you think I want to spend $300,000 on computers when I can tuck it away and hold it for another day? No, but Dr. Schmidt's got to get his program ready to be operational, and he's got to replace computers and get those things up to snuff so that when our kids come back, we have everything available. let's just say we approve this and, the next week we get the numbers from the state and it's not there. Well, of course, I'm gonna reel it back in and say, all right, everybody, back to the table. We gotta figure out how not to create a problem. But right now, we're in good shape, and I would not lead you down the road. This is, you know, I live here too, and I want everything that's great for our community, and we've done a great job with our resources. And because of that, we are able to continue to do the things that need to be done in the format that's been presented this evening. If it was not available or not a good decision, it would not appear in your board agenda. I couldn't think of the word, the agenda. So,
And Ms. Fury does not give herself enough credit, but as far as being fiscally cautious, she's very fiscally cautious. And so that's put us in a situation this fiscal year. In fact, we go back and forth from time to time, maybe we should spend a little more money, and she says she wants to spend a little less money. So I respect that. She's a superintendent. But her cautiousness has put us in a very good position right now. And I give her all the credit for that. She's worked very hard to keep an eye on the money, and trying to balance, making sure that we're moving programs forward for students, and also keeping an eye on the money. And she demands that, and so I can say that as a person that sits in the room with her.
Well, I know when an employee plugs the supervisor.
Yeah, that's a first.
yeah, listen, it doesn't come easy now.
I don't pass them out real easy.
All I've said, I know what I heard. That's all.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
It doesn't, just like from y'all, it doesn't come easy. To get a compliment, it does not come easy, okay? So I'm gonna take everyone
On
on
a facetious but a serious note, I, like you, do not want to be put through the task of taking bread off the table, so to speak, of our teachers. That was a painful exercise to me, and I'll never forget it.
No, didn't like it either.
So I've learned something, I think, from that. And there are other things that we can do prior to it getting to that teacher impact.
We don't
That's
have
the
to.
last thing, a decision that we all as a board member will make,
Yes.
I hope. And there are some things.
It's not even on the table right now.
Well, and I made a comment at our last meeting, and I asked that we put the school's budget, east side, up for discussion, because I understand how it's allocated. But we as a board decided how that allocation and what it took. We put all that together. And there's nothing that I have learned since I said this that could prevent us from doing that. At least discuss the board, what money we have available, where it is, when it's scheduled to be spent. All the things that should be done in that project should be presented to this board in clear and no uncertain terms. And I'm yet to see it. And we're talking about potentially impacting school teachers' budget, salary.
No, we're not.
I
Not
said
potentially, even potential. We're not, teachers' salaries and salaries and benefits in our school system, unless something major happens at the state level.
It's still potential.
It's, unless something major happens, because right now
There's a
it's not
potential.
part of the
You agree
conversation.
with me? It's a potential.
I can't.
Oh, I know it's hard to agree with me,
I know
but
it's
you
not
know
always
I'm
hard to
trying to
agree
correct
with
it.
you,
so.
but anything's possible,
Well,
Mr. Johnson,
and-
just,
and
you know,
I
anything could
understand
happen
that, but
overnight.
a little bit of prevention would take care of a lot of cure.
And we've
that's what
done
I'm saying. Okay, well, you're not safe yet. Okay, I won't start preaching, but we can move on.
Okay. All right, so we had discussion on the item. I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Item M.
In item M, the superintendent recommends the single sign-on software needed for the school system be purchased from ClassLink of Clifton, New Jersey. The total cost is $66,200. With ClassLink, you can log in with only one password, which would be very helpful. During the pandemic, we're using the laptop for everything. Gives you access to web apps, shared files, and you can convert class time to its intended goal, which is student education. The school system will utilize a contract managed by PEPM, a national technology bidding and purchasing program, to procure the software. And this relates to strategic goal area 1, and 4. And that is item M for consideration this evening.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. The floor is open for discussion.
One comment, this is to replace, this is not necessarily a new item, this is to replace a current item we already use, or program, excuse me, I shouldn't say item.
Clever, is that right?
Yeah, clever.
So it replaces that. Okay, good.
Okay. I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Item N.
Item N is the halfway point. Anybody needs to take a break? Item N, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contracts and purchases with the following vendors be renewed for an additional contract term. And those contracts are Dell Marketing, Microsoft Licenses, total cost $195,181.92. Dell Marketing for Storage Area Network, and total cost is $27,964.35. Follett School Solutions, which is our library and asset management software, total cost is $29,919.04. And Safari Montage, which is a digital media platform, total cost is $35,242.20. There's lots of description there for you about each product, relates to goal area 1 and 4, and the funding sources are outlined for your review. That is item N, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move it forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second to move it forward. Any questions? Okay, having none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item O.
Item O, the superintendent recommends the approval of agreements between the Newton County School System and individuals to provide physical therapy and occupational therapy services to students with disabilities in accordance with their individualized education programs. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievements and Success. Contract documentation is there for your review, and funding sources are outlined. That's item O.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. May I have a motion for O?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Discussion, questions, or concerns?
Yes, just a comment, if you will. Maybe a question. What did you do in preparing this information to comply with the 14% reduction and trying to meet the obligations here?
As far as letter O with the salaries for our occupational therapists and physical therapists,
Yes.
the 14% came from other areas, not from the salaries budgeted for this staff.
Okay. Thank you kindly.
And are the rates the same as they were last year?
They are.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, their rates, they actually, in order to continue with this type of contract that they have with Newton County Schools, their rates will never increase.
Okay, great.
You need to share that approach with some other people.
I got what you were getting at there. I got it.
Yeah, so they can either become a direct hire and they will be paid from the teacher's salary schedule as it increases, then they get increases, or vice versa, but these direct contractors will never increase in their pay rate.
Very good.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Having none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, P.
Superintendent recommends the approval of agreements between the Newton County School System and the identified organizations to provide speech services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, vision services, deaf, hard of hearing services, and nursing to students with disabilities in accordance with their individualized education programs for the 2020-2021 school year. And this relates to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success. Funding source is there for you, and that is item P, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for P, please?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion, questions, or concerns? Having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Q.
In item Q, the superintendent recommends the approval of agreements between the Newton County School System and Catherine Stubbs and Terry Justice for services to students with disabilities in accordance with their individualized education programs for the upcoming school year. This is Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success. Contract is there for your review. That is item Q, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for Q, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion, questions, or concerns? Having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. R,
Superintendent recommends the approval of a service agreement between the Newton County School System and Medical Provider Services Incorporated for Medicaid billing and administrative outreach services. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1. Contract is there for your review. That is item R, Madam Chair.
okay, thank you. May I have a motion to move forward?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Discussion, questions, concerns?
Is the 12% the same as last year? Was it 12% last year, or? Okay,
It will always remain 12%.
all right.
Okay. I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item S.
Item S, the superintendent recommends the approval of a commercial lease agreement with Top Leasing LLC. The effective date will be August 1, 2020, and the expiration date will be July 31st, 2021. The total estimated cost is $84,000. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and Strategic Goal Area 4, Organizational Operational Effectiveness, and contract documentation is there for your review. That is item S, Madam Chair.
Okay, may I have a motion to move forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second. Floor is open for discussion. Okay, having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, T.
Item T, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contracts and purchases with the following vendors be renewed for an additional contract term. The effective date will be July 1, 2020, and the expiration date will be June 30th, 2021. And the two vendors are K-12 Solution Group, who provide our student information system. Contract value is $230,855.70. And the other one is Usha Software, which is funding analysis software, which helps us make sure that we're getting the maximum return on investment for FTEs, and the contract value is $47,740.74. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and Goal Area 4, Organizational Operational Effectiveness. Contracts are there for your review. And that is item T, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for T?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Okay, discussion? Having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item U.
And item U-
Almost there.
Sounds like y'all are getting weird.
I know.
Weird.
Well, we saw A, that it went into double letters.
Just saying.
Superintendent recommends the approval of a student lunch paid meal price increase for fiscal year 2021. Over the next 5 years, the school lunch program meal prices for paid lunches must increase to an amount equal to the federal free meal reimbursement rate minus the paid meal reimbursement rate of 39 cents. The meal target for fiscal year 2021 is $3.05 per paid meals. Using the calculator, which is provided by the USDA, the meal price increases necessary to continue progress as required by law is for elementary lunch to increase from $2 to $2.10, and secondary lunch to increase from $2.20 to $2.30. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 4, Organizational and Operational Effectiveness, and that is item U, Madam Chair.
Okay, may I have a motion for you, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved in second. Any discussion, questions, or concerns? I just have one thing, and I know this is not something we can control because this is a federal thing. I just hate that we continue to increase the meals and not increase the food. So the meal price increases, but the portion size of the meal does not. The taste, I think, has gotten better, so.
That's good to hear.
But,
Write that one down.
There you go.
Yeah, and the portion sizes and the dietary concerns. are-
understand, yeah. Yeah, I just hate that they're doing that, so. All right,
I have a comment, and this does just trigger a memory, but, or something someone told me. Do we have, something, a gluten-free meal that's offered every day? Gluten-free
I
option?
don't think so.
I don't believe
It's
so,
just
but I know.
something, somebody talked to me about, and that just jogged my memory here. If that's something maybe we can look into, because I know so many people are, and restaurants are going to it. I'm sorry to get off topic, but,
Yeah.
just something to think about or talk to the school nutrition program
And I
about.
think too, if there's a dietary issue, they will prepare them.
Prepare.
so,
That's correct.
yeah.
Sorry.
but I've noted that.
No, that's a good concern. There's a lot of kids with allergy issues and dietary stuff going on, so. Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item V.
And item V, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for food needed for the school nutrition program be awarded to Gordon Food Service of Lithia Springs, Georgia, and Samples Foods of Atlanta, Georgia. The effective date will be June 29th, 2020, and the expiration date will be June 28th, 2021. The estimated contract value is $5,400,000. The solicitation included 456 food items, including meat, cereals, spices, sauces, frozen and packaged foods, as well as canned fruits and vegetables needed for the upcoming school year. And you can see the number of items awarded to each vendor. This deals with strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. Contract documentation is provided for your review. And that is item V for consideration.
Okay. May I have a motion for V, please?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion or questions?
It would just be a question about, again, contractually, if we are not miss school days, or we only pay for what we get, kind of
That's
thing?
correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. W.
And item W, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for the maintenance and repair of kitchen equipment be awarded to Wilson Bryant Air Conditioning of Macon, Georgia. The effective date will be July 20th, 2020, and the expiration date will be July 19, 2021. The estimated contract value is $325,000. The vendors and their prices as presented in response to the bid are there for your review. This deals with strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. Contract documentation is there. And that is item W.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion, questions, concerns?
I would ask, is this the same company?
No,
I didn't recognize this name.
it's a new company. The current company was Commercial Appliance Parts and Service.
All right. And the decision to change is based on the $3 an hour difference, or the 10% markup, 20% markup difference, or all of that?
Those are, yes, those are both reasons. Yeah.
All right, but they did good work for us.
Those are, the
Oh, yeah.
prices
Prices, got it.
in this situation would be the primary
Gotcha. Thank you.
concern. And so I can follow up with you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. X.
In item X, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contracts and purchases with the following vendors be renewed for an additional contract term. The first one is Royal Food Service, and that's for produce and fresh eggs, estimated contract value of $750,000. Southeastern Paper Group for paper and cleaning supplies, $550,000. And Bimbo Bakeries USA for bread and associated items, and that contract value is $160,000. And that deals with strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. And that is item X.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Y.
And item Y, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract with Tyler Technologies of Plano, Texas for pupil transportation management software needed for the school system be renewed for an additional contract period. The effective date will be July 1, and the expiration date will be July 30th, 2021. The estimated contract value is $116,504.95. This deals with strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. Item
Okay.
Y.
Thank you. May I have a motion for Y, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Floor is open for discussion.
Well, I had trouble with them a good bit last year, but were they able to rectify all their problems as well? I think they had some server issues on multiple occasions. And
It seemed to get better. So we were satisfied until the end of the year.
Okay. And then the price, is it relatively the same for the same
Yes,
services?
yes, it's the same kind of pricing arrangement.
Okay. Thank you.
This comment, please.
Yes, sir.
This function, this contract, I think in the past 3 years has gone up. I don't remember what it was last year, but I think we combined some functions. But it has started off, I remember when this came on, at about $16,000. And now it's up to 116.
I don't remember 16,000, so that may,
That's when that was the first year.
okay.
But
And
last year.
honestly, I don't remember the types of things that we were using.
Well,
I know we
a lot of
were
the functions
using,
have been combined, and it's difficult to track now, as it used to be, but.
okay. Well, it represents everything that we're buying from Tyler Technologies.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
In item Z, the superintendent recommends the bus lift needed for the school system be purchased from Sturtle Coney of Stevensville, Maryland. The total cost is $33,749. The school system will utilize a contract managed by Sourcewell, a national purchasing cooperative, to procure the lifts. This deals with strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. The purchase documentation is there for your review. And that is item Z. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for Z, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, questions? Mr. Bailey?
Question,
I'll do Mr. Bailey first and then you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I just saw his hand first.
That's okay.
Okay.
Is this just for the equipment, not the installation of the equipment?
They're movable,
That's
they're on
okay.
wheels and they move around, and then you can lift the bus up. It's not a fixed lift.
Like the cop, or the
Yeah,
column?
there's
Okay.
one fixed lift, and this would be to support that.
Okay, thanks.
How many is it?
It's one.
One?
Right.
So this won't lift the bus up both ends?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's four lifts constitute the entire lift system. Yes, it will pick the entire bus up. There's one at each corner of the bus.
Okay.
Battery powered? I guess like, that's in the weeds maybe, but like, are we going to replace batteries, or does it?
No, I
Rechargeable?
don't remember the batteries being
Okay.
a part of it at all.
But they're wireless, this thing's a wireless thing.
Well, I think the operation of them is wireless, the controller that you use to,
Like robotics club.
we've been lifting them up and down, and we're,
You're tired of holding them up in the air.
The ones you got now, got 2 columns, right?
no, we have an old set that has 2 columns. Well, both of them are very old, but the one that we're replacing is a very old set with 4 columns also, that we've been told is no longer safe to utilize, and so.
Okay, I understand a little bit. But isn't there increased safety hazard? Because you got more obstruction in the work area?
No, it replaces what we've currently used for years out there.
You've gone from a 2-column jack to a 4.
No, we have a 4-column jack now that's been out there for a very long time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Woo! Item AA.
Item AA, and just to share this with you, this is about my AA and AB are about my limit. The superintendent recommends the identified items be declared surplus and disposed of per board policy DO. That relates to strategic goal area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness. And the property list is there for your review. That's item AA.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion for AA? Okay, having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item AB.
And item AB, the superintendent recommends the approval of personnel matters as discussed in executive session.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for AB?
So moved, second.
Which-
So moved second.
Okay.
Reach that point.
Mr. Bailey made the motion, Mrs. Coggins seconded the motion. Okay. All in favor of the superintendent's recommendation in executive session?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Other matters of interest?
I'm waiting on it's so hard with the mask to
To
read
know
your-
if I'm gonna say something? I am, but
Okay,
you want
I-
me to go?
I can tell, I just want to remind everybody about the survey. So,
Okay.
parents, we have our reopening surveys available till Friday at 5 p.m. And teachers, we have our reopening survey available until Friday at 5 p.m. And we are preparing to send out another survey that will be administered to all employees in the school system. So that will be the next survey. And the purpose of the surveys is just to gather information to help us make good decisions about how we reopen in the coming days, weeks, months.
Okay. I just want to say about the schools, I took my mask off because I'm going to say, so it won't rub against me. But I want to say, like, the graduation drive-through ceremonies were awesome. But I also want to say something with noting the graduation ceremonies. And it's like this when we have the face-to-face graduation ceremonies. Each high school is so individually different that I love it. And I say that to say that I hope the high schools don't compare themselves to each other in a way that you say, we need to be like this high school. So I say that to say, Newton shouldn't say, we need to be like Eastside. Alcovey shouldn't say, we need to be like Newton. I love the individuality, and I hope that as, each school, you have staff come, you have staff go, you remain to your individuality, because that is what makes your school unique. And so I say that to say, we don't have one school that's like this. This is the model school within our district, because the individuality is so important. So just wanted to express that. So it's very unique.
No, I don't agree with that. You got to be an individual school. You got to have your own ID.
Well, that's what I said.
It's the mask.
It's the AB. We went all the way to AB tonight, Mr. Johnson. That's exactly what I said. No, because I do, like, as a parent, and not to get on a soapbox, but as a parent of children in a high school, I've actually been in a meeting before where I heard the staff people say, we need to do this because this high school is doing it. And I cringe when I hear that, because I'm like, well, that's why my children do not go to that high school. I love the individuality of this school. So I just say, I think it's important. And I think our administrators need to hear that. Like, don't try to be like each other. Keep your individuality. It's very unique. And it was. When you looked at the ceremonies, it was like so unique. Everybody was different. That bar was hot, but over there. But everybody was different. So just keep your individuality.
And they did a fantastic job. The staff and the school leaders, they did an amazing job.
I would like to just commend a former student of ours for am I stealing your thunder?
No.
Okay, just for organizing a peaceful protest.
Absolutely.
And then I'm proud of our community for supporting and being peaceful and protesting. And I felt like a moment of pride mixed with anger and mixed with sadness all at the same time. But I was proud that our community is being angry, I think, I would say the right way, if that's the right way to say it. I'm grateful for what's happening right now, and awareness and advocacy. So, thanks to our community and our school leaders and students that have been participating.
Yeah.
That's a great, one more thing, y'all know me, I always find one more thing. With Mr. Bailey saying that the staff too, there were a number of staff members that were out. And I heard parents saying, and some staff went to multiple events. But I wanted to say, I heard a lot of parents saying they appreciated that, because before they didn't know if some of their kids' teachers had a genuine concern for them. And so seeing them and the teacher being different from the child in terms of race, it helped them to see that, hey, that teacher really does care. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and we're creating great conversation, which is dialogue is what needs to happen, and I think that's happening, we need to continue it.
Okay. Any other matters of interest? Having none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned 8:40 because we went to AB.
Yeah, that was a long one.
Thank you.